What's going on, everybody? You just watched FGC Meetups 93, the Tekken 8 top 8, and it was a nail-biting victory for my boy Jaime right here. And I've got him here for the winner's interview. Jaime, talk a little bit about what you're feeling after that win.
You know, as much as I didn't want to take this bracket seriously, because everyone's not enjoying this patch. There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's a little bit overtuned to anyone's liking. All we just wanted were just a couple fixes. So I had a feeling that we were going to run into Jax. I had a feeling I was going to run into a Paul. You know, it's going to bound to happen. Those people, those characters right now are the problem.
Yeah.
With as much as like other people that we didn't get to showcase a lot of the other stronger characters, but sure enough, as soon as I ran into that, that Jack, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Make some noise. But I came in here. I just wanted to have a good time. Granted, I did a poll.
Yeah.
I said, regardless, I'm going to drink.
Yeah,
I do not condone drinking for purposes of saying that this is going to make you play better in bracket. Maybe you can. Maybe. I do not want to condone that to myself. I owe it to myself that I am quite a good, skillful player that I do not need.
This is negative reinforcement. The fact that you started the bracket, like 6 shots deep?
Of Malort.
Of Malort, specifically.
That's
and
how
then you ended up winning it. Don't try that at home. Try it at your local.
Yes.
But you seemed prepared. I mean, despite all of the feedback and like the criticisms of the Season 2 patch, this major overhauls on characters, you still seem prepared despite those.
The funny thing is that Kazuya's overhaul in this game were tools that I'm like, all right, I can just throw this in my utility. It doesn't change his archetype, except now the fact that now he's more so all-arounder now. He feels more so like he can pick every spot now. He doesn't necessarily still have the quickest mid, but now he has sufficient mids to fight in any range. He has some of the nastiest lows, the nastiest mids now, and obviously you're going to be afraid because he's a Mishima of that caliber. He's going to have an electric.
Yeah.
So the main thing is just trying to be prepared for like anything that's new, the knowledge checks or anything in general, just fighting a new character now. So because Tekken still keeps that legacy, but right now it's just all those new moves are just over the top. So sometimes you don't know if it's a big, beefy normal that's going to make you plus, like make the opponent plus, but it's a high. There's a new string now that's jailing or it counter hits now. It's just all these like little precautions. So I always play super passive when I don't need to. So there was a lot of times where you just watch me block because it's just like, I'm like, I don't know what to do or I'm afraid because the options are skewed in the blockers.
Interesting.
The defender.
Are you worried about like the future direction of Season 2 and how they're going to take Tekken 8? Like, do you think that with this design philosophy where it's like they're poising it as a more defensive patch and it's difficult to identify, do you feel as though like people are just not going to adapt well to it?
The thing that's hard is that like we just gave them like I think we voiced and expressed a lot of us people from here in the scene, high level caliber, as well as like other people from like around the nation. They're like expressing like, hey, this just needs to be toned down. Other than that, like we'll do like some fine tunement against certain characters, but like all we asked for like little tuned down adjustments. The direction that they show that they're just going straight up. We're just gonna throw more on top of what you're dealing with. I'm still getting clipped by stepping when I'm trying to read a heat burst. We just wanted that, or like the phantom range is where like you'll be here and I backdash like maybe 2 steps away and it still clips me, and now you're put in that position where like I wanted to try to get away from all this like panic, like all right, I gotta set the neutral back at 0 because I'm gonna pop this heat engagement.
Yeah.
And then, but like I said, a lot of the stuff it was just doubled down. So we're instead of like the initial offense that we're already done with dealing with, they added a lot more new stuff. Granted, I will applaud them. They did tone down heat engagers that come from a power crush. That high power crush. Because then that sets the tone too. Because now you want to approach when they can like throw a button and then smack you.
And then they also like added the options to like how you say Jack, right? Where you have to kind of like make a hard read with your armored move in order to beat like the 2-1 and then the follow up that he gets to do after that makes him plus.
It's just like now, like I said, is like a lot of the new characters, like not new characters, a lot of the new tools that the Tekken devs decided to give out put the defender in a unfavored situation.
Yeah.
That that it makes you look like you're a masher or you're like making like the biggest, like, you know, everyone's going to say just duck right here or just step right here. But you got to be anticipating someone's timing. Now you've shown like, okay, I'm going to power crush here every time. There was an instance where like I finally did a power crush thinking I was going to check it, and I got thrown and I blew up.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just the fact that like some people have these situations now that you're not in, it's not in favor for you. It's not in favor.
Do you have some like words that you would, if you were sitting next to a dev right now, like having a really heart to heart, and they were like willing to listen to you and actually take your feedback, what kind of things would you want to say to them?
It's just hard. I feel like I think they need to revert back. It's as much as it's like, you know, I'm happy with like all the new stuff obviously what Kazuya got. I figure that they need to revert back and at least keep. I feel like maybe one of the new moves, obviously, it's always annoying, but having multiple characters having multiple new moves do multiple different effects, I think at least if you're going to give someone a new tool, make it be one. That way it's not overwhelming. And then now that you give them this one tool, make it where it's just a little thing that it goes in both favors.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's outweighing the defender versus the offender.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So take some moves back. Just listen to the general feedback of that heat burst. You know, like none of the phantom. Like don't let it be. It has to be linear. Like there's no way that it's doing like phantom hitting, stepping one direction or stepping the other direction.
Yeah.
And same thing with like reaching from far away. It doesn't need there. It's just looking at it visually is unpleasing.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, I don't know how it would tone down, like, heat engages or heat dashes because, like, obviously now they set the tone with also there's a full crouch mix now. And the offenders, again, plus 17. Maybe just, like, again, it's just tone down the factors where, like, now you're putting, like, where the defender has to decide for their life, you know.
Yeah. Like remove these seemingly checkmate situations or these like brute
just
force.
reduce the plus frames like in somebody's favor. It has to be at a plane where they're not egregious.
Yeah. Reduce these like brute force 50-50s. Last question. You know, there's a lot of like will there, won't there about this patch, but outside of the patch itself, when it comes to just like Tekken 8 and your competitive tour for the rest of the year, like what are you excited for, like just for the rest of 2025 and how you're playing games?
I think now we're going to see more characters being utilized because that was what the beauty of Tekken was. A lot of people could be good with someone of like a lower tier character, and you could see that character variety. You love that about Tekken, like no matter what. It's just some people now do not like seeing some of these lesser known characters because now they have something in this game that makes them obnoxious to fight. And there's always going to be those type of like characters that you're not going to like in another fighting game. Like, yeah, they're low tier, but you don't want to fight them because they have this and this, and it's a bunch of knowledge check. With the fact that you're dealing with your legacy knowledge plus now like, oh, now this guy has a new extension off this string that I normally know is mid-high. Now I'm getting hit with mid-mid. It's stuff like that where like it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. So it's going to take, again, a lot of time to adapt. But I feel like you're going to see some new faces that are going to enjoy this patch because it's going to be, again, it's like this heavily offensive thing. But I hope they could tone it down and back to where it becomes like the neutral pace where you can play, poke around. You guys are playing by feel versus like, I got this move, I'm going to set this position, now it's a 50-50. I hate that because if I was going to do that situation, I'd play Marvel.
Yeah, that's like, a good point.
I'm already accepting the fact that now, that too, I think they need to tone down damage because already in this game now, a lot of people are now hitting the threshold of like their B&Bs from being like at least in the double digits, like 70 to 80 at most. There are a lot of people with spending resources right off the bat. They're hitting 100. So that's 150-50 away from now, again, a game that you're like, okay, we want to set the tone. We want to set the pace, you know, not having to just swing out launchers or a 50-50 in your favor. And then
And it's really easy to make those 50-50 situations too, so it doesn't feel as good. But yeah, all right, Jaime, thank you so much. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks with FGC Meetups 94 on Street Fighter 6. Take care.
Support your locals.
Support your locals.